Hey, welcome today to the Coastline Podcast. This is our opportunity to share with you the stories of our church family. People with the past, people who've made mistakes, people who have regrets, people who've learned incredibly valuable life lessons. It's all about God taking people's story and redeeming it for His glory. So we're going to get honest, we're going to get real, we're going to get vulnerable, and it's going to be transparent. So join us today on this episode of our Coastline Podcast.
Hi, Coastline fam. Welcome back to another Coastline Connections podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Beebe, and I am here with Mrs. Coastline herself, our pastor's wife, our beautiful worship leader, Amanda Jayne.
I love that you gave me all those titles.
Next time you get a business card, do you have a business card? We need to upgrade your titles.
But I'm going to have to make big business cards so I can fit all those fun titles on it.
Yes. I love it. So just a little behind the scenes stuff. We just had a 6.0 earthquake right when we started shooting. We literally turned the cameras on and then we all started shaking and freaking out.
We were like, what's happening?
But what I wanted to point out is that you, me, and my husband Chip, who is producing this, we all just froze. We didn't run to a doorway. We didn't duck for cover. Like all the training that we had when we were kids growing up, we did nothing.
No, we didn't. We were like,
just sat.
And then we just sat here, held onto our chairs and said, it's still shaking. It's still shaking.
I wonder if that's what most people do. Like how long it takes you to realize you're actually having an earthquake. And then you just, and then by the time you do anything, it's over. But that was a big one.
And it lasted, I feel like, a lot longer than normal.
It was at least 30 seconds.
At least.
Which feels like an eternity when you're rolling.
It probably was only like
shaking.
15 seconds.
No.
But Chip filmed it, so we'll go back and look at the evidence.
You did.
Okay,
Okay, so before we jump into learning all about you and your upbringing and how you met Pastor Aaron and how you guys ended up at Coastline, I wanted to start with a few little icebreakers first.
Okay.
And something I learned about you recently, which I thought was so cool, something I would never do. You try exotic foods, or at least you have. You've tried exotic foods. What I would but some people would consider exotic foods in your life growing up in Texas.
Well, if we're comparing it to Chip, our producer's childhood palate, who he's never grown out of, then Yes, probably I've had exotic food. But
well, I was wondering what the most exotic food you've tried is, because I did learn that you've eaten alligator.
Oh, I love. Yeah.
Wait, were you just gonna say you love it?
I've loved versions of it.
Like what versions? How many?
Okay,
versions have you had?
Well, I've had fried alligator.
Okay,
you have to understand where I'm from in Texas.
Where exactly? Where's your hometown?
Well, I'm from like outside of Houston, but my grandparents live a little further outside of Houston, and the alligators outnumber the people 3-1. And every year they have this huge festival called the Gator Fest. And so you can try, it's so insane. They have a competition to see who can catch the largest alligator. I mean, I've seen one that was like 13 and a half feet long.
Wait.
Yeah, I know, crazy, but it's really fun.
How do they display
Well, they kill them.
No, I know, but are they just like laid out and
On
you
ice.
walk up?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, the
that's
winner,
crazy.
the rest of them, I'm sure they cut up and fry them. This is probably not PETA approved. But yes.
Nothing is.
So yes, I've had alligator. But when
Okay.
I say I love alligator, there's a restaurant here in San Diego. I won't name it because I don't want to have to give props or whatever. I don't know how that works with sponsorships and stuff. That has an andouille sausage and alligator savory cheesecake.
What?
I know that sounds insane, but if I love Cajun food, and it's definitely Cajun, but it was one of the best things I've ever eaten. So yes, I've had alligator. I know octopus is probably not the most exotic thing, but I only tried it once. But I did try it.
So you only tried it once, so you didn't go back for more, so that didn't hit
I was
so well?
like 15.
Okay.
So I don't even really remember.
Okay.
And I love calamari, but I won't eat the ones that look like octopus.
Bodies. That look
Yeah.
like the
I like
bodies.
the little round ones,
Yeah.
but not
Too
the...
much. The ones that look like onion rings are just fine.
Yes. I don't want the one that actually looks like a baby octopus. Like, I know it's a squid, whatever, but still. Yeah.
Okay, so if you could have any animal on land, in the sky, or in the sea as a pet, what would you have?
Okay, so this is tricky because I am allergic to every animal that walks the face of the earth.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and I know everyone is always like, you could get a hypoallergenic dog. I'm still allergic to them. It's not the fur I'm allergic to. It's the dander on their skin.
We do really have to pretend.
Yeah,
this is pretend
but
land.
I would love. Okay, so I have two. The those cute little half Pomeranian, half Huskies, a Pomsky, are the cutest little dogs I've ever seen in my life. Although I have a really bad gag reflex. And so if it pooped on the floor, I would probably be like,
it's going to happen.
I wouldn't be able to clean it up. Yeah. I can't even clean it up.
So this is pretend land. So
children vomit.
This little cute mini Husky Pomeranian thing is already potty trained. We can pretend. But that's a little fluffy teddy bear. That's true. Adorable.
They're so cute. But I would want it to stay a puppy forever.
Okay.
But okay. So from the time I was a child, I always said I would draw, like everybody draws like things. I would draw massive hotels. I wanted to own a hotel and have a pet dolphin. I love dolphins. I love like sea animals. Like some of them.
Yes.
I don't want to like swim with an octopus, but
Got it.
I love like sea animals.
Most people would say I don't want to swim with a shark, but you went for the octopus.
Oh no, I've done that.
You've swam with sharks?
Yes. Yeah.
Where were you?
In the Bahamas.
Was it vacation, honeymoon?
It was our honeymoon.
Okay.
And we love snorkeling. So we have all of our own snorkel gear. And on this trip, we went on this like multi-location like snorkel trip. And the last one, this is probably so unsafe. I'm sure they don't do this anymore. This has been 20 years ago.
That's what makes it fun sometimes.
Well, yes, it's probably highly like not normal. But so the last stop, they put this yellow rope out in the water, and another boat pulled up next to us and threw chum in the water. And there were probably 200 nurse sharks, and they would like eat all the food. So you had to hold on to the yellow rope so that if something happened, they could pull you in really quick. So Aaron stayed in the whole time.
Stayed in the water the whole time or in the boat?
In the water.
Okay.
I got in, stuck my face down, and this massive like 8-foot shark went right underneath me, and I was like, okay, I said I did it.
You did it.
I'm getting out.
You did it. That counts. I am impressed with Aaron though, staying in the whole time with that.
Yeah, he has like an unhealthy not fear of things.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah. So, but that was fun. I'm pretty sure I still have pictures.
Awesome. Okay, finally, before we get into the meat of this, if you could sing like at the Grand Ole Opry or the Hollywood Bowl with any famous singer, live, dead, whatever, icon, pop star, whoever, who would it be?
Okay, this is a tricky one. Because, I love music. And if I was going to choose, I would definitely want to sing at the Grand Ole Opry. That was like a dream of mine. So I'm going to give you 3 categories.
Go for it.
Okay. If I could just sing something that I love, I would want to do the song. I probably shouldn't say this.
Say it.
But did you ever see in 2015 on the CMA Awards, Justin Timberlake and Chris Stapleton sing Tennessee Whiskey together?
I have heard a version of that.
It was the greatest. I would have loved to be in on that.
So the 3 of you. So you would want to sing
with them.
Yes.
Except that, okay, so that's my first category. Second, I love Dolly Parton. I think that she is like the sweetest lady, like wonderful. Like she's just so cute and sweet. And I would love to sing a song with her. And then third, CeCe Winans. I've loved her since I was a child. She would be my dream duet partner.
Do you have a song in mind for either her or Dolly?
No,
or just
I just don't even care. I would just love to sing that with them. I would love to sing anything with them.
That'd be,
Can you imagine me and Dolly singing Tennessee Whiskey?
Who doesn't love Dolly? And CeCe is such a powerhouse. You two
She's
up there
so
together.
amazing. I mean, I've loved her since I was a kid. Yeah.
Okay,
and she
big.
still looks the same. Beautiful. And man, I hope I aged that well.
I know her and Dolly.
Yeah, well,
Dolly.
I
at the
love
football
Dolly
game or
Parton.
whatever.
She's like, if I start looking old, I just nick it, tuck it, or suck it. And I'm like, okay,
See?
you know what? I'm all for that. You might have to edit that out.
Never. No. We like unedited Amanda. So let's go back to the beginning. Let's start with sweet little Amanda. And I was going to say Amanda Jayne, but that is your married name. What's your maiden name?
Kemp.
Amanda Kemp.
So what's really funny is that I have the two easiest last names, but I still have to spell. Always had to spell them. So like people would be like Camp, and I'm like, no, Kemp, like Sean Kemp, like Matt Kemp, like yeah. And then I was like, oh, I'm marrying somebody with the last name Jayne, but then they had to throw a Y in
He
it.
spells it, yeah.
So now I have the two easiest last names and still had to spell it all the time.
You got such a good last name though for a married last name. Like Jayne. How beautiful is Amanda Jayne?
Okay, can I tell you
Yes.
such a funny story?
Yes.
One of my best friends in high school, her stepmother, for some reason, my whole life always called me Amanda Jayne.
Stop it.
I don't even know why. She just like would be like Amanda Jayne, Amanda Jayne. She thought it like rolled off the tongue. And then I married somebody with the last name Jayne. Maybe she was prophetic. I don't know.
Were you able to tell her that?
Yeah,
was
she
still
knows.
in your
Totally,
life?
she knows. She was like, I told you. And I'm like, how weird is that?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like that. It
Crazy,
was meant to
crazy
be.
story.
All right. So you're a Texas girl, and not only are you a pastor's kid, but we've learned that you come from this long line of pastors in your family.
Yes.
So your father was a pastor, grandparents.
Yep. Uncle,
uncles.
great uncle.
And how did you like being a pastor's kid growing up? Because from the outside, all I can imagine is something like Footloose, right? Where you just have to be this perfect kid and follow all the rules.
Hey, I know that whole dance. I went down a rabbit hole one night and pulled up a tutorial video and just learned the Footloose dance.
Okay, so we're doing fun social videos
Anyway.
with your Grace-Based Living podcast with your husband. So maybe one of these times, Amanda.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, honestly,
but how was it growing up actually as a pastor's kid?
I get that question a lot. And I also get the question of like, how it must be so hard to be a pastor's wife. And I'm like, honestly, I don't know any different. My grandfather was the pastor of his church when I was born, and my dad was the pastor of his church when I was born. So I don't really know what life looks like without being in the immediate family of the pastor of the church I'm going to. So I think that there's like some ups and downs. I mean, there were some things that were hard that I probably did have to like decompress. I hate that word because I hate that whole like decompress from Christianity, and that's not what it was. I had to learn that I was told a lot, like, well, everything you do reflects on the church.
Well, yeah, that's what I would imagine. That's the kind of pressure you hold, that you carry it.
But at the same time, like as an adult, I understand what kind of pressure that put on a child. But as a kid, I don't think that I didn't really know any different. So it was not like, it wasn't something I ever had to get used to, because it wasn't something that I ever knew any different. So, and I think that helped me like seamlessly. You know, I always said I would never marry a pastor just because. Yeah.
No,
I
didn't know you always said that.
Oh yeah, I was like, no, I'll never marry a pastor. But then I did. Crazy.
We'll get there.
But it was interesting because it was kind of a seamless transition, because I just have never known any different. So I think it might actually be harder for me to go into the real world where I wasn't in the immediate family of the pastor to like, I've never just attended a church as a churchgoer. I don't know what that's like. I've always had to sit on the front row. I've always had to be looked at. So I don't know any different.
Did you ever go through like a rebellious stage as a kid?
Well,
or in high
kind of.
school?
I say a rebellious, but
Yeah.
I don't know how rebellious.
Rebellious light.
Oh, we'll tell you a story. And I finally confessed this to my mom, so I can say this. I did go through a rebellious phase. She was out of town one weekend, and I was supposed to be staying at my friend's house. And of course, we didn't.
About how old were you?
I was.
Were you like high school, middle school?
Yeah, I was like a sophomore in high school. So I couldn't drive yet, but a lot of my friends could. So I, of course, had some people over. I wouldn't call it a party. I'm not sure it was a party. There weren't that many people there. But I had a friend who would like a psychotic boyfriend, an ex-boyfriend. And so we parked one of my friend's cars in the garage so that the neighbors didn't see that we were all there. This dude like shows up going nuts. And so there was a guy there who was actually a rodeo clown. I don't know, do you know what a rodeo clown is? Okay, but I have to just say, do you know what a rodeo clown is?
Okay, so from the movies, Amanda, I know that they are the guys who get in, they try and distract the bull.
Yeah.
Right?
So they're like tough dudes, okay? So he was there. This is not the crazy ex-boyfriend. The crazy ex-boyfriend shows up and like just goes nuts.
He's just trying to get your friend, trying to get her attention, trying to get to her.
And he's like banging on the door and everything. And he ends up leaving. And all of the guys that were there, including this rodeo clown, jumped in the... Wait, I got to back up because this happened before. So the crazy... Let me back up. The crazy dude shows up. He has a Ford F-350. I don't know how... You know how big those...
Giant.
He rams it into the front of my house. Like
what do you mean? The garage? The window? What do you mean?
Yeah, the garage. Like totally dented in the garage. Like I was freaking out. I was like, Mom, I'm gonna get in so much trouble. So then he like gets in the car and like takes off, and all the guys chase him. But as they lost him, he comes back. And then so it's just us girls, and he's like banging on the door, trying to kick the door in. And then they the rodeo clown guy shows back up, decks the guy right in the nose, and I've never seen so much blood. It was all over the front of my house. It just like sprayed. So I'm like out there at like 3 a.m. trying to hose off the garage, and all the guys are in the garage trying to push the garage door out so that we could get our friend's car out of there. And I was like,
Amanda,
so bad. So then I called my mom the next day and I was like, I don't know what happened.
Stop it.
I just drove by the house and somebody ran into our garage. Totally lied. Like, ugh.
Yeah.
And we had the nosiest neighbor on the face of the earth. Oh, Henry. He was the greatest guy. Luckily, my mom had dated a guy who had a truck like that. And so Henry told my mom that he thought it was her ex-boyfriend. So for years.
Wait, did he really think that? Like he didn't actually see you?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So for years,
thank God for Henry.
For years, I got away with it. I was like, I don't know what happened. This was crazy. And finally, like when I was an adult, I told my mom the truth. And she was like, what? Really? And I was like, yeah. So that was a little bit rebellious.
That is awesome. That is an awesome story. And the fact that there's a rodeo clown just like is in the story of someone you're hanging out with makes it even
from
better.
Texas. I also once got in trouble for drag racing in the church parking lot. In my defense.
You were behind the wheel?
Oh, heck yeah.
What car?
At that point I had a Mustang. Okay, my first car was a turbocharged Probe GT with a nitrous switch.
What color?
White.
Yes.
So I used to drag race all the time in high school.
I love you so much.
And I would always win. And like, I can drive a stick shift with the best of them. Yeah. So we had a friend who had that Ford Lightning truck. You know how they're supposed to be like the fastest?
Yeah.
He couldn't shift as fast as me. And I smoked him.
Oh, I love it.
But I did get in trouble for that.
That's so good. Gosh, we should just talk about this all day with you. I love it. You have a lot of fun little stories in there. So at what point did you discover that you had the voice of a songbird, Amanda? Like really, like I would imagine you're someone who just came out singing and you probably loved singing your whole life. Maybe that's how it was as a kid. But at some point you had to have realized that you were really gift, that this was a gift from God.
I always loved to sing. And I remember my 15th birthday, we like went to a beach house and we had a bunch of my friends were there and we were sitting around the fire and 2 of the guys pulled out a guitar and they were just saying like, sing this song. And I sang the song and everybody stopped playing and like looked at me and I was like, what? They were like, you can like actually sing. And I was like, can I? I mean, I always like kind of knew I kind of could, but that was probably the turning point for me. And then I don't tell many people this, but when I was 19 or 20, I got signed to a rap label.
Literally, my next question for you was going to be like, did you ever consider pursuing this outside of the church as a profession?
No, I didn't.
Oh, never would I have guessed a rap label.
So it
would have
was,
been knocking at your door.
it was No Limit Records, which is Master P.
Shut up.
And at the same time that I was signing to their label, Snoop Dogg was on that same label. Okay, I just have to say,
Coolest pastor's wife
I
ever.
just have
Continue.
to say, like, think what you want about him, and I don't agree with his lifestyle. I don't agree with the things he's done. Nicest person I've ever met.
I love Snoop Dogg.
He is so nice.
Yes. So you got to meet him.
Yeah, he
Like-
was on the same label as me.
I know, but I don't know what us mere peasants don't know what that means, Amanda. So, so you, oh my God. Was this in,
Houston.
and this was still in Houston.
Yeah, so
Okay.
yeah, Master
And-
P is from Houston. They lived in Houston. Yeah. I mean, the whole story is kind of crazy.
I know. I'm trying to wrap my head around this. So did he give you advice? Like, was he working on?
No, he just
your
invited
things
me to a party and said, "I hope you're not offended by weed." I obviously didn't go. I was like young, but I actually, so I went through the whole process with going to sign with them. They had flown all their lawyers in. I had recorded like multiple songs with them, and on the way to sign the record label, to sign the deal, my dad called me on the way there, and he goes, and God rest his soul, my dad, I love him, but he said, if you do this, you're going to sell your soul to Satan and go to hell. So of course, like, I had the worst panic attack ever and ended up not signing it and just kind of like backed out of that. And I mean, it was an ordeal because they had already put a lot of money into it. And
Yeah, I can imagine.
yeah. But then not a couple years later, I was already married. So I guess that was only a couple years. I got married at 23. I met another guy in LA who had a label, and we did like a couple of songs together. I wrote a couple of songs. One of them, Justin Timberlake's he was like starting to sign he was like trying to start a label, and he actually purchased one of the songs for one of his artists. They never actually recorded it, so it's never been on the radio or whatever. But then I did like a 5-song country album, which is really where my heart lies. I'm a country girl at heart. That was what I always really wanted to do, was country.
So did you record that with that guy, the country? You actually did.
Yeah. So I do have like I have like a pop album from when I was like 20, and then I have like some songs from a country album, but yeah.
Did you do the whole thing where you did like a photo shoot for like the cover art and all that
You know,
stuff?
it was actually on the cover of a magazine.
It was?
It was that was actually back in the No Limit days. I was on the cover of a Texas entertainment magazine. I'm sure my husband still has it. He's like all proud about it.
Yes.
But I was on the cover of it, did an interview, and then was in multiple like spreads in there. Yeah.
So did your dad have an issue with that at all? Why did you walk away from?
Well, he didn't tell me all that. I mean, I had done all that before the day that I was supposed to sign. Like,
Oh,
no.
all of that even was
that was leading
prior.
up to.
Got it.
So when I tell you they had put a lot of money in, they had like scheduled. I know this is going to sound unbelievable, like I'm lying, but I'm not. They had scheduled me to do a duet with Mary J. Blige and Mariah Carey.
Amanda Jayne.
And so this was all like in the works. And even funny is like this was back, I don't know, 2000 something. And that was when Destiny's Child first came out,
Yeah.
you know? And so Beyonce, they're all from Houston. And I was at Master P's house because I wasn't just hanging out at his house. That's where his studio was. And there was other people there or whatever. And she actually stopped by one day, Beyonce. And so I met her briefly. Yeah, she probably doesn't remember that, but I do.
You'll never forget that. That is, I mean, that's the ultimate. Now, do you have any, how did you deal with, I don't know, a hardened heart or anything? Did you have bitterness towards your father after walking away from that path of where your life could have gone?
Yes, probably when I was younger. But I think like looking back, my life probably would have been drastically different. It was in the era of Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears just kind of coming up, and it was the same type of music. I would have been in the same category. I mean, I had a choreographer. It was all like straight like 2000 pop, you know. So now, as like this old lady that I am at 43, like I could see that it probably was the best thing for me, but definitely like during it was really hard because I was like, this is all I've ever wanted, and you're ruining my life, you know.
Did that affect your relationship with Jesus or God at all when you have a father who's a pastor and who's saying some pretty harsh things about your choices in life and, you know, selling your soul to the devil and all that kind of, I mean, that's pretty hard. That's pretty harsh way, and it lays it on pretty thick. I mean, did you continue to go to church at that time? Did you have
I did, because I actually worked at my dad's church.
Okay. But did you have a community, someone there that you felt like was your actual support system to help you kind of get through that? You didn't at that point.
No, I think like I lived my whole life not really trusting people just because you couldn't. And I think that was when you back up to like when you asked what it was like to be a pastor's kid. I think that like that was a huge thing, that I didn't really feel like that I could trust anybody. So I kept a lot of things bottled up. And I know we've talked before on the podcast about how I always felt like I wasn't allowed to feel what I felt. I felt like that every time I did have feelings about something, I was told, oh, that's your feelings are wrong. So feelings became like this massive enemy to me. And yeah, so I still went to church. I think that like I went through the motions, you know. I loved God, but I didn't know Jesus. I didn't really understand who he was and the grace aspect of him, which I think is that's really who Jesus is full of grace and truth. But like I had never really been shown what true grace looked like. And so like when I say like I loved God but I didn't know Jesus, it was not like I didn't know who he was. I just had never experienced like the true relationship, like what he was actually like. And that's changed for me. So I don't know. I look back, I don't think that I have bitterness now. I don't ever know that I was actually, no, I probably was a little bit bitter. Let's just be honest. Yeah. Like, I'm like, my life could have been so different, you know? I could be touring and I could be crazy like the rest of them have ended up. And so, so I'm grateful at the same time. I think the hardest thing really for me is that singing is my happy place. It's my passion. It's like what I want to do all the time. You know, like even driving in my car, I'm just like, I always want to be singing. So I think like that for me was the hardest thing, because when you have everything you thought you wanted right in front of you and then you lose that, finding a different outlet for it, sometimes it's confusing, you know. And that's why I just thank God that I got into a church where I could really use my gift and worship, because now I'm like so much more fulfilled than even I would have been singing pop songs about things that I shouldn't have been writing about, but did, you know. But I love to write music too. I've written a lot of songs.
Do you still do that? Just, I mean, not for fun or as a hobby, but is that like an outlet for you? You'll just write music?
You know, I don't so much anymore because I don't play an instrument, which is kind of funny because my kid can play every instrument. But I love to write music, and that's something that I really want to get back into, because I think it's a gifting that God has given me, and I would love to start writing again. Yeah.
So you walk away from that almost career path that you were headed on. And at some point you move out to California, you meet your future husband.
So that was actually opposite.
This happened.
The way you said it was opposite.
Okay, tell me.
So I met my husband and then moved to California.
Did you meet him after you had walked away from Masterpiece?
Yes.
Thing? Okay.
So I was like, I think I was 19, maybe 20 when that happened. And I met Aaron when I was 22. He worked at a church in LA, and my dad actually preached at that church. And I came with him. So I have a little sister. She's 13 years younger than me. She's like the sweetest thing ever. I love her. So the night that my dad preached at the church, I didn't go. I stayed at the hotel with my little sister. And then we went to Disneyland. We had all the fun times. And my dad came back and was like, I met the guy you're going to marry.
Stop it.
And I was like, no, I have a very serious boyfriend who's already talked to you about maybe marrying me.
Really?
Yeah.
So how long are you with this guy at that point? A few years?
It was kind of an off and on thing for years. Yeah.
Okay. And did you think you were going to marry him?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And then things just didn't work out with us. And it just kind of ended up being like, the end of the end, And I was devastated. I mean, honestly, it was so heartbreaking. But so after that, Aaron and I talked on the phone a couple of times.
So you had not met him.
No.
But you started talking on the phone with him.
Yeah, because my dad gave him my number. Yeah, my dad gave him my number.
How did you feel about that?
So wait, let me back up. So his job at the church was fundraising, but he also took care of all the guest speakers. So
Aaron's job.
Yes.
Okay.
So Aaron drove him around and showed him everything, took him to dinner. It was a whole thing. So he spent some time with him. And so he gave him my number, and I was like, seriously? So I talked on the phone with him a couple of times and was just like, this guy's a jerk.
What? A jerk?
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Yes. Tell me why.
Maybe it wasn't a jerk, but when somebody calls you and they're acting interested and you talk to them multiple times and they ask the same questions every single conversation, and I'm like, you can't even bother to remember my answer from last time. I was like, no, I deserve more than that.
Did you make him nervous over the phone or something?
No,
maybe?
I think he was just arrogant. I don't know. I mean, he was a young guy.
Yeah.
I'm sure he had every pastor that came through there trying to hook him up with his daughter.
And had he seen a picture or anything of you?
Not
or was
at this point.
So this was truly blind, not even dating, blind speaking.
No. So we didn't actually talk again for another 3 years.
Okay.
Maybe 2 years. I don't know.
Okay. So it just didn't click for you at that first.
Yeah. I was like,
okay.
This guy's not. So then a couple years later, so the church he was at, you can take teams and do mission trips. Well, he was the only person that we knew there. And so my dad was like, I need you to email this guy and see about taking a team out there. And I was like, really? Okay, fine. Because I still worked for my dad at that point. So I emailed him, and somehow we just started emailing back and forth. And I had a friend who had gone out there, and I didn't know that she did this, but she ended up sending him a picture of me, and then it was all downhill from there. Not downhill, I guess it was uphill. He was relentless.
Game over. He wanted. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
He was in.
And I'm a massive baseball fan, and that year the Astros and the Dodgers were both in the playoffs, and he was like, if you happen to have tickets to this baseball game, I'll come down there. And I was like, of course I can get tickets, because I worked for the Astros that year. And so we got tickets, and he came down, and that's how we met. And then we only dated for 10 months. We met and were married within 10 months. 9 of those months we lived in different states. I don't recommend that. We did not know each other. We got married and did not know each other.
But so was it just but I'm curious, when you finally saw him after just doing the phone conversation a couple of times and now the email correspondence, so you finally see him, were you like, oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because we had talked a lot too before he actually came. We had talked on the phone more, and he started to remember my answers to my questions. So I was like, okay, maybe he's matured in the last couple of years.
So was it, I mean, that first 9 months, did you guys have time to eat, time or even money to fly back and forth a lot? Or was it really just
a little bit?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we did, but if I'm being honest, I think we probably spent a total, like if you add up all the time, probably only 3 weeks together by the time we got married. Maybe like in the last, like when we were planning the wedding, he came down a little bit more, but it was like a day or two at a time. And then I actually moved out to California a month. Well, I moved in May. We got married in July. So I moved out there. And so we were around each other, you know, for like a month-ish before we actually got married.
I know your husband is a huge dreamer.
Yes.
Big plans for the future of this church and everything. But I'm curious, what are some of your hopes and dreams for Coastline over, I don't care if it's like soon or if it's down the road, what's on your heart for this church?
Oh my gosh, that's a hard question. I just really, we live in such a broken world of people who just don't know Christ. And we live in a community that's an affluent community, but like the majority of people in our community don't go to church. And, you know, having money and having a good job and having like what seems like the perfect life is not fulfilling. And there's a spot in all of us that needs to be filled with something more. And that's really like my hopes and dreams for this church, is that I've never like wanted to be a mega church pastor. Like that is not my heart. I couldn't care less about, I mean, I should care how many people are coming to church, but at the same time, it's never been about the number to me, but it's about how many people are having true life changes. Because even growing up in church and you know, being pastor's kid and all this stuff, like I've experienced the transformative power of Jesus. And that's really my heart for this city.
You know
now,
what?
selfishly.
No, but real quick, what you just said, like you should care about the numbers, but you don't. I actually think you have it perfectly. Like you care about the heart of the church first. You care about transformations here, redemption. You nail that, you feed that, the numbers will come. So I think you're right on.
Yeah, I mean, you could have 10,000 people in your church, but if 9,000 of them are like broken and not growing and not like, that's what really matters, is like, how many marriages are we helping? How many people are we helping break, you know, strongholds in their life? How many families are we helping restore? How many people are we actually like helping like find a true purpose in life outside of like their day to day? But then I just that's really my heart for like the church as a whole. Now, selfishly, I would love to record a worship album. Like I hope our worship team keeps growing and we can start writing and can, you know, not for like the fame of it, but like for just that's my selfish ambition there, saying because I love to sing, and worship is really where my heart is. There's just something so powerful about, and it's not about me, but sometimes like I'll be leading a song and I just open my eyes and I see somebody wiping their eyes, and just seeing like it's such a powerful thing, and it's not about emotion, but it's about God meeting you. And sometimes you feeling the presence of God does feel like an emotion. And that for me is so rewarding. Like I just love that. I love to look out and see people like truly engaging with God. And if it takes that kind of emotion for them to really experience something with God, and that drives them to get to know him better, that is so rewarding to me.
I know I've told you this privately, but I'm just going to say it again. It's my story coming to Coastline. I walked in first to the kids building, met Monica, and I was like, yes, I will trust her with my children. Yes, something about her I love. And then worship is so big to me, but I walk in and you are just going off. And I was like, the Holy Spirit, like this is it. And even literally the other week I was in the restroom real quick before church and my husband's getting donuts and coffee. And I was coming out of the bathroom and I heard you. I'm like, okay, I'll see you in there. Amanda's going off. I got to go. I mean, it sets the tone. It really is that important. And, worship album. I'll put that on our vision board for you too. That would be amazing. And so proud to have that available to us throughout the week, driving wherever we're going.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
That would be my selfish dream. But again, it's not so much, I feel like God has given me a gift. Now, of course, I don't think that I'm the best singer. Don't disagree with me. I'm not fishing for compliments. I'm just saying, I know there are people that are more talented than me or whatever, but I do feel like God has given me an anointing that even I feel when I'm leading worship. That, it might be like the worst time I've ever sang a song. I could hit every note wrong, but I just feel like there's like a weight that comes on me that I feel like it's truly an anointing. And again, I'm not saying that to toot my own horn because it's not about talent.
Not coming off that way. Don't even worry
because
about
it's
that.
really
No.
It's not about talent. It's like sometimes when you are walking and you're doing the thing that you just know you're called to do, there's a weight that comes with that. Now, ask me to speak on the microphone and you will see me not sleep for 3 months and have massive panic attacks. I'm working on that.
Well, you're doing great so far.
Oh my gosh, this is different. I'm not standing on this stage in
Right.
front of like 100 people. Even like sometimes our worship pastor will be like, do you want to do a ministry moment? And I'm like, no, absolutely not. I mean, I might have something good to say, but the thought of that, I could sing in front of like 50,000 people, but put me in front of like 100 people and ask me to talk. I'm like, I think I'm good.
We know our strengths.
No,
We're good.
yeah. You know what's funny? I even like stress when they're like, can you just say, welcome Coastline, join us for worship. Oh my gosh. I'm like, no, I can't do that. I can't. Nope. Sorry. Like, I don't know what it is. It's like this intense fear, but I'm trying to overcome that. I'm trying to work on that.
Well, in closing, I thought that I would ask some of the women here at Coastline to describe you as a leader here in just a few short words, right? I was like, hit me with a few words. When you think of Amanda Jayne, what do you think of? So here are some of the responses.
Okay.
Amanda is amazingly intuitive, insightful, crazy talented. She is caring, loving, loyal. Amanda is an absolute powerhouse. She is deep. She is strong. So beautiful and charming. She is kind-hearted. She is compassionate. Amanda is graceful. She is a true friend. Humble and faithful servant. She is worthy.
I feel like you paid people to say that. But
No,
no,
they
that's
just came flowing out.
amazing. That means a lot to me because I'm such an intense introvert that sometimes I think people think I'm just not a nice person because I'm awkward. I really am. Small talk is like, I don't do well with it.
A lot of people don't.
No,
Beat
sometimes
yourself up.
I like try to talk to people and then I walk away and I'm like, I'm so stupid. What am I saying? Why did I say that? Like, I really struggle with that. I feel like I'm super awkward.
So this leads me to this transition of closing this up. This is why I am so excited about your podcast with your husband, Grace-Based Living. It kicked off this entire series. We get it twice a month. And this is where you shine because
I hope
seriously,
so.
because you just, Aaron breaks your walls down because you're comfortable with him, right?
Yeah.
And we're just getting to see you more just relaxed, laid back, and your funny personality just like coming through.
Yeah.
So thank you for agreeing to do that.
course.
Thank you for sharing that with us. All the work you guys are going to do through this podcast is just going to change lives, help lives, just bring this community closer. So I cannot wait for the next episode. I absolutely loved just chatting with you here.
Yeah,
and
this
I really
has been fun.
and I think that the women in our church want more of that from you, right? We all just
And
want to
I would
know
love
you
that
more.
as long as you don't corner me and outside and be like, how's the weather? I don't know. It's raining. No, it's not. It's super sunshiny.
Right, okay.
I just get super awkward.
So
I
now
don't
we
know.
know.
I'm like so, it's crazy.
It's
I am such an introvert. I like to just hole up in my room and read. But at the same time, it's really funny. Like I'm an open book. Like I think I told you that. Like there's really not a lot of things that I won't tell you. Like I don't have a lot of secrets, and I will share them. It's when it comes like down to the small talk conversations, I get super awkward, and then I feel uncomfortable, and then I'm like, I'm just an idiot.
You are not, but now at least like we know, like okay, we know how to handle it.
She's not really a mean person. She just doesn't know what to say.
You never come off mean. I love it. Well, thank you again, and make sure you guys stay tuned to the Grace-Based Living podcast. Amanda and Aaron will be back with that next week.
Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thank you so much for joining us on the Coastline Podcast today. And let me tell you, if you ever have a question for myself or my wife or any of our guests, or would love to hear a show about or a question about, email us at podcast@coastlinechurch.org, and we'd love to respond to you. Now, before you sign out, please like, subscribe, or follow whatever device you are on or platform you are following us with today so that you never miss an episode. I'm grateful to get to do this together. Thank you for joining us.